Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Adha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shiveshikam Vitam Sya Om Ajnanatimarandasya Kyanachana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Gorva Bhistam Supurakam Garaganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Abhidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwaguruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Bansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamananyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagawat by Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur, and this is chapter 8 that we started yesterday. So we'll finish this chapter. The chapter's title is Mahaprabhu Displays His Opulence. The devotees all around were so captivated and moved by the Lord's ecstatic symptoms that they put their hands around each other's necks and cried. The entire group of assembled Vaishnavas looked so radiant, their bodies decorated with sandalwood, tilak, and tulsi mala. They blissfully tasted the nectar of chanting Lord Krishna's name. The sounds of their voices, mridangas, conch shells, and kartals mingled to a melodious uproar. As this auspicious sound of the holy name spread and filled the azure vaults, evil and misfortune disappeared in every direction. That Supreme Master is so extraordinary that the entire universe becomes cleansed of sin simply by the dancing of his disciples. The Supreme Master, Krishna himself, now dances to the accompaniment of his own holy name. How can the Puranas ever explain this supernatural phenomenon? Lord Chaitanya danced, surrounded by his devotees, loudly chanting the auspicious name of Lord Hari. Lord Shiva becomes spiritually surcharged with bliss at the sound of the Lord's name. Once he begins to dance and taste the nectar, he loses track of his person and clothes. That very name of the Lord transformed Valmiki into an embodiment of knowledge and renunciation. The same holy name offered Ajamil supreme liberation. Hearing his name, the shackles of material existence are broken. That self-same Supreme Lord has now appeared in Kali Yuga and is dancing in his own name. And I believe this is the Chaitanya Bhagawat, and this, I believe, what's being described here is the song which we sing on Ekadasi, Sri Hari Vasari Giti. We sang that yesterday, and this is what's here. That song is part of this chapter. Narad Muni and Sukadeva Goswami roam the universe, singing his praises. Ananta Sesh, with 1,000 mouths, glorifies his name. He whose holy name is the best means of atonement for all my sins. That same Supreme Personality dances only to be seen by the most fortunate souls. So fallen and wretched am I, that I was not born to see that marvelous festival of Sankirtan and dance. Srila Vyasadev's son, Sukadeva Goswami, praises Kali Yuga in the Srimad Bhagavatam, considering the future advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord has now appeared and dances immersed within his joyful self, enchanting all with the rhythmic patting of his own feet. The Vajjayanti garland around his neck swings wildly, echoing the Lord's ecstatic dancing mood. He tears up the garland, and so his tears flowing onto the garland. And he tears up the garland. He tears up the garland and throws the shreds at his devotees' feet. He has given up his joy. Rides upon Garuda's shoulder, and he has given up his joy of riding upon Guru's shoulders, and has forgotten his four-handed form that holds the conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus. He has forsaken his bed of Anantasesha, and in his pastimes as Sri Gaurasundar, he now rolls in the dust, weeping, overcome with the ecstatic mood of servitorship to the Supreme Lord. Gone is his mood as the Lord and Master of all the pleasures of the Vaikuntha planets. The ecstasy of being the Lord's servant overshadows all other pleasures. The Lord is the supreme enjoyer of all pleasure, yet disregarding the pleasure of Lakshmi Devi's company in her exquisitely beautiful face, he now prefers to wave his face and hands in the ecstasy of Sankirtan as he drowns in an ocean of acute separation from his beloved Krishna. The Supreme Lord is diligently served by elevated personalities like Lord Shiva and Narad Muni, who have given up all wealth and position for him. Now, however, Gauranga neglects his supreme absolute lordship, and with the utmost humility, taking a straw in his mouth, begs prayerfully for devotional service unto himself. In spite of the Lord's unprecedented personal example, if any wretched soul disregards devotional service to the Supreme Lord, he is so unfortunate that he throws away nectar and drinks poison. Again, there are those who read and propagate the teaching of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but establish themselves as Lord and Master without appreciating the extraordinary beauty of devotional service. All their activities are lowly and futile. They do not know the essential truth of the Vedas, yet they deliver dissertations on the scriptures to an equally agnostic audience. They are truly like mules carrying the burdensome load of useless learning. The Vedas and Bhagavatam have unequivocally elucidated the elevated position of devotional servitorship to the Supreme. Lakshmi Devi, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and many other great personalities carefully cultivate this priceless process. Those who do not have complete faith in Lord Chaitanya's words are most unfortunate and are forever disassociated from his mercy. It was so divinely enchanting to see Lord Gaurasundar dance, surrounded by all his associates singing sweet melodious kirtan. Advaitacharya, unable to control his ecstasy, often went into trance and covered his entire body with straw. In humility, he held a straw in his mouth, and with some upon his head, he danced vigorously, his eyebrows drawn close together. The assembled devotees were astounded by Advaitacharya's ecstatic symptoms, while Nityananda Prabhu and Gadadhar Pandit were shaking with laughter. Gaurasundar, the dear life of every soul, continued his sublime dance, frequently overcome by endless ecstatic emotions. Gaurasundar exhibited such extraordinary symptoms of ecstasy that they are not mentioned even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, nor has anyone ever heard of them from any other scripture or person. Sometimes his body became stiff, like a statue, and no one could possibly move or bend him. Then again, his body would become as soft as cream, as if he had no bones in his body. Other times, he looked at least twice his normal size, and again, sometimes he became thinner and smaller than usual. Sometimes he moved drowsily about like a drunkard, suddenly breaking out into joyous, boisterous laughter that shook his entire frame. Lord Gaurasundar, enraptured by spiritual emotion and seeing the assembled Vaishnavas surrounding himself, started calling his devotees by the names of their previous appearances. He looked around and shouted out the individual names like Haladar, Shiva, Shuka, Narad, Prahlad, Rama, Lakshmi, Aja, Brahma, and Uddhava. In this way, the Lord skillfully revealed the devotees' previous identities in Krishna Lila. All the devotees marveled, filling their eyes with the enchanting dance of Lord Gaurasundar and the mood of Lord Krishna. The crowd at Srivas Pandit's residence, drawn by the delightful kirtan, was overflowing and over-anxious to see Sri Gaurasundar. The devotees who would arrive early could see everything. Other persons had to remain outside. The Lord instructed the doors to be closed. The people of Nadia were impatient, creating a loud commotion to get inside. They cried out, "We want to see the kirtan. Open the doors immediately." The Vaishnavas inside were unaware of any happenings, their complete attention captivated by the kirtan. Amongst those who were not allowed inside were some atheistic and envious persons making various comments. They said, "They're a bunch of beggars, afraid and feeling ashamed that they might be recognized by others. They closed the doors." "You are right. It's only due to the pangs of hunger that they scream non-stop for hours." Actually, they have closed the doors because they do not want us to catch their drinking wine all night. Nihimai Pandit was good and normal. We do not know why the Supreme Lord has changed his mentality. I think this is a consequence of his past life. In fact, this is happening because of bad association. Ever since Nihimai lost his father, he has no one to discipline him. Nihimai has long since given up his studies. Grammar is such a subject that if you lose touch of it for even a month, you forget it. His mind is now idle. We know all their excuses. We know the real reason for their closed-door activities. In the night, they chant mystical incantations, casting spells on women to bring them here. Together, they eat and drink all sorts of things and decorate themselves with fragrant flowers and perfumes and engage in various illicit recreations. So they lock their doors to avoid public censure. Tomorrow, I shall definitely have them arrested and taken away, bound up like common criminals. All this howling and shouting, Hari, Hari, has never been heard in these parts. Now this kirtan has stolen the sleep and peace of common people. All material prosperity is now forever gone, and instead we will have famine. The rains will stop due to their reprobate activities. No grains will grow, and we will all starve. Nevertheless, let us wait outside a few days more, because this madness cannot go on for too long. We shall see what Srivas Advaita or that Avadut Nityananda does. In this manner, the godless persons raved and threatened, but the Vaishnavas were immersed in the joyous ocean of kirtan, not paying attention to their words. Outside, the tirade continued. It is not a Brahman's duty to sing and dance. That is for the low-class man. It is said that an educated Brahmin it is sad that an educated Brahmin should set such a bad example. So I'll repeat. Outside, the tirade continued. It is not a Brahman's duty to sing and dance. That is for the low-class man. It is sad that that an educated Brahmin should set such a bad example. Just looking at them, even an upright Brahmin loses all his good qualities. No one should as much as see their dancing and kirtan, even out of curiosity. Look what happened to Nimai. He was intelligent. Now he is mad, dancing and singing with them, and they are steadily increasing in number. What is their use of going out to Krishna without any self-realization? Krishna resides within you. Why reject the wealth in your own house and search for it elsewhere in the forest? Then someone quite unexpectedly said, to criticize others is of no use. Better for us to just go home and mind our own business. Another voice supported him, saying, we cannot get inside to see the kirtan due to our own misfortune caused by our previous bad lives. How can we criticize those who are fortunate to be inside participating in the kirtan? They are very pious. He must also belong to their group, the atheist cried out and pressed aggressively toward him. What is the great loss if we do not see their kirtan? They are simply a few hundred prancing around, screaming as if in war. Without practicing chanting, penances, or cultivating knowledge, they follow a concocted method of discipline and meditation. They collect foodstuffs like rice, bananas, milk, and curd. Mixing everything, they all sit together and eat. In this way, they corrupt the caste system. Thus, some people came to see the kirtan only to abuse. Just look at how madly they are acting. They indulged in such comments and left. Again, a fresh group of people gathered to continue the vilification. When two agnostics met, they engaged in ridiculing the Vaishnavas and rolling in laughter. When they met anyone who had never seen or heard the kirtan, they forced them to go to Sriva's house, and only on repeated pleadings would they allow someone to get away. Someone said, what a wonder! In spite of seeing all this, the people crazily followed Nimai Pandit. With all the hustle and bustle, Shiva's house sounds like he is celebrating Durga Puja. The only sound one hears is a great din. This certainly gives rise to all the ill rumors. Navadip is crowded with thousands of erudite scholars, yet these charlatans have gained prominence here. We must free Navadip from this Srivas. Tomorrow I will demolish his house and float his belongings down the Ganga. It is for the better of this town to be rid of this so-called Brahmin. Otherwise, when the Brahminical culture wanes by his bad example, the Muslims will take over. Such were the unending string of invectives against the Vaishnavas. Yet some atheists were somehow very fortunate. They were born in the same place as the Lord, and so they automatically saw and heard the Lord's dancing, kirtan, and other pastimes. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya were deaf to all such criticism, intoxicated by the sweet nectar of Krishna's name. Day and night, they sang the different transcendental names of Krishna. Jai Krishna, Murari, Mukunda, Vanamali. Day and night, a tireless Vishrambar sang and danced with his associates, whose transcendental bodies were naturally indefatigable. Immersed in the ecstasy of Nam Kirtan with Lord Chaitanya, millenniums passed by, but by human considerations, they were but a few years for the devotees. As in the Rasa Leela dance, pastimes of Krishna, the young damsels, the Vrajagopis, spent millenniums dancing with Krishna, but to all it seemed a mere flitting moment that came to an end only too early. Krishna's pastimes are all inconceivable, and the associates of Lord Chaitanya, knowing this, similarly experienced the passage of time just like the Brajagopis. One night, an hour before dawn, Lord Chaitanya suddenly stopped dancing and climbed up onto the altar, lifting all the shalagram shilas that were normally on Vishnu's throne onto his lap. He sat down upon Vishnu's throne. The seat crackled and protested loudly under his weight. Nityananda quickly rushed to hold up the altar seat. Now with Ananta Sej supporting the seat, it did not crumble. And Gaurasundar sat comfortably upon it and swayed gently. The Lord ordered the kirtan to discontinue, and as quietness settled, he began to reveal the transcendental truth about himself with a booming loud voice. In Kali Yuga I have appeared as Krishna. I am the Supreme Lord Narayan and the fortunate son of Devaki. I am the Lord and Master of the entire cosmic creation. I am glorified in all your songs, for you are my eternal servitors. I have appeared for the sake of all of you. I will accept whatever foodstuffs you have to offer. They are gifts meant for me. Sripad said, O Lord, everything is yours. Lord Chaitanya replied, I will eat everything. Advaita Acharya said, Lord, that is a great fortune for us. The devotees became busy bringing edibles for the Lord, and the Lord enjoyed them with relish. He ate milk, curd, and fresh butter, and kept repeating, what else do you have? Bring it. They brought him milk sweets like sandesh, which he mixed with sugar. They brought raw candy with coconut milk and grains, bananas with flat rice and fried rice. He consumed large amounts and still said, bring more. He ate in a matter of minutes more than what 200 men could eat. Still the Lord said, what else is there here? Bring it, bring it. Oh, there is nothing here. The devotees were alarmed because their supplies were exhausted. They became amazed to see the Lord in this mood and began to remember the Lord Almighty in fear. They became amazed to see the Lord in this mood and began to remember the Lord Almighty in fear. They prayed to the Lord with folded hands, O Lord, what do we know about your mystique? How can we satisfy you with our small gifts? Someone who can hold the entire creation in his stomach. The Lord replied, my devotees' gifts are never small or insignificant to me. Quickly, bring. What other things have you? They said, please listen, dear Lord. The only thing left is some camphor rice. The Lord replied, do not worry, bring me that. The devotees became jubilant and forgot their fear. Each one hurried to bring as much rice as they could, and the Lord received it all with open, outstretched palms. The Lord then made large eyes, and rolling them, he began calling aloud, Nada, Nada, Nada. Nada is the name of Advaita Acharya. The dumbstruck devotees sat around with terror in their hearts. They saw the Lord as a terrible master come to give out punishments. No one could approach him. Lord Nityananda stood behind Mahaprabhu holding an umbrella over him, and Advaita Acharya stood before the Lord with folded hands offering him prayers. All the devotees hung their heads in consternation and remember the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's feet. Whoever relishes these narrations of the Lord's mystic opulence will certainly be able to see the beatific face of the Lord. In whatever stage of spiritual realization one is situated, to that extent one will perceive such esoteric truths. Anything more is impossible without the Lord's sanction. Looking at Advaita's face, the Lord said, ask for a boon. I have incarnated here only because of you. The Lord looked at all the devotees one by one and laughing said, "Ask for what you want." The Lord manifested his divine awesome potency in this way, sweeping away the devotees in waves of ecstasy. The Lord's inconceivable pastimes are impossible to comprehend. In a matter of moments, the Lord changes from an exciting autocrat to a devotee swooning in devotional ecstasy. In a matter of moments, the Lord changes from an exacting autocrat to a devotee swooning in devotional ecstasy. Upon regaining consciousness, the Lord wept continuously, manifesting the mood of servitorship. He went around putting his arms around the Vaishnavas' necks and wept, calling them brother, friend. An ordinary person could never see such activities. Only by the arrangement of the Lord's Yoga Maya potency, the Lord's servitors were eligible to perceive the truth about the Lord's supramundane situation. The devotees were joyous and laughed at the Lord's wonderful character, and they said, "The Supreme Lord Narayan has advented." He again fell down unconscious with overwhelming bliss and lay on the ground as if dead. The devotees began to lament bitterly. They thought, "My beloved Lord has left me behind and left this world. Why is he so cruel to me? I will also leave my body immediately." The all-knowing Lord again woke up, feeling the thoughts of his devotees, and started a loud kirtan. The devotees were suddenly stirred up, and in extreme exhilaration. The devotees were suddenly stirred up and in extreme exhilaration lost all balance. The Navadip devotees thus relished such wonderful loving pastimes with the Lord of Vaikuntha. Whosoever hears these transcendental pastimes of the Lord, his mind will always dwell in the association of devotees and the Supreme Lord Gaurasundar himself. Whoever hears these transcendental pastimes of the Lord, his mind will always dwell in the association of devotees and the Supreme Lord Gaurasundar himself. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are my life and soul. I, Vrindaban Das, humbly offer this song at their lotus feet. So, end of chapter 8 of the Madhya Lila. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Garadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhatta Raghunath Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Janana Bandhan H.I. Gosai Kori Janana Bandhan Chahoite Vignana Shamista Puran Chahoite Vignana Shamista Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas, H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas, Tasabar Bana Renu Mora Panchagras, Tasabar Bana Renu Mora Panchagras, Hare Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas, Hare Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas, Janame Janame More Abhilas, Janame Janame More Abhilas, H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas, H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas, Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash, Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash, Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan, Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas, Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narada Modas, Nam Sankirtana Kohe Narada Modas, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas, Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas, Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narada Modas, Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narada Modas, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Tadiya Shri Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashishi Mad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashishi Mad Srila Bhakti Rakshira Dev Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Thakur Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunashi Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Sigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Namadeep Dham ki jai, Shri Ram Mayapur ki jai, Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Koladvip ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai, Ganga Devi ki jai, Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Vrindaban Dham ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai all the assembled devotees Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.